So why we have to we sell even almost in Dominica, I think half of the Dominican population have been sold to foreigners.
True. Hold on now.
More than the population.
Hold on now. I have a YouTube channel. You can go and watch it on there now. You look me up on ST is at STAIMIE51. So it's fifth is at Saint Amy 51 on YouTube. You can look me up on at Saint Amy 51 on YouTube, so you can see me on your 75-inch screen on your YouTube right now. So I'm streaming live on YouTube right now at Saint Amy 51. ST. I'm gonna type it in the description here now. STAIMIE 51. So yeah, you could find me on that on YouTube right now if you want to find me on YouTube. So yes, the channel is there. Hey, good evening, Wesley. How you doing? We asking the question: has the CBI program been good for the Caribbean nations who are involved in the CBI program? Has it been beneficial? Pin it for Mikado. How I doing that? I don't know how to do them things there, you know. You see? So I'm not the computer guy, you get me? Hold on, let me see if I can do this there real quick. Share this. Facebook. Select all. Copy. I'm trying to send it for you then now. Paste. So it's in the comment there now. It should come up right here. So it's right there now in the comment. Just click on it, and it will come up. So yeah, you can watch us. Take a look at Saint Kitts. Okay. So there. Okay. Now 1 out of how many? 1 out of how many? We have Antigua doing the CBI program. We have St. Kitts doing the CBI program. We have Dominica. We have St. Lucia. And
I think that's what we are. I don't. Grenada should be in it.
Grenada? Yes,
Yeah,
I think Grenada might be part of it.
Yes, part of it.
So St. Kitts might be doing good. Antigua might be doing good, but the other three, what happened to them? You know, it's like you have one out of the many, and the ones that are not doing so bright are being scrutinized by the U.S. government, by the EU, because Dominicans are no longer able to go to Europe without a visa.
Pretty soon we also.
Dominicans are no longer.
We're not too far down.
And that's our supposedly our mother country. Why is it that we can't go to our mother country without a visa?
But Kado, I believe the question you ask is so simple. The EU had problem with the way we are selling our passport. The question is, who is doing the due diligence, the background checking when you sell your passport for a foreigner? Who is checking who?
Who is checking
who? Who is checking if that person, because the last one I told, our passport have been sold from Russian to Iranian and other countries, which the US had problem with in terms of citizen nationality and citizen. And then I remember something happened briefly that's about a couple of months prior to me, 1 second before I got there. I was at a place in Viewfort close to the entrance of Uranora Airport called Blackbird. And I was there having a drinks and cool out. I ended up having to speak to a Chinese national. As a matter of fact, I did taxi her to the airport because she was waiting for a BA flight. And then while there, I say, "What are you doing here?" And she speak good English. And you know what she said? She showed me her St. Lucian passport.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it, so I tell her, well, let me look at that. She have a passport like me. So I asked her, a young lady, why you want that? What are you doing? Why you want to become a citizen there? You know what she told me? She just have her passport because she bought hers for $125,000.
Okay.
And she's not doing any business.
Mm.
So that is why in the preamble at the opening of my statement, I said we learned before passport was used to sell maximum for $300,000. And then we have heard that it had been reduced to $150,000.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So the question is, if it's true, somebody is creating a breach in the system.
Mm-hmm. But look at that.
Simple.
The other day there was a guy who was in New York. He was in New York. He met two people asking them, do you know Dominica? Because the lady was like, yes, we know Dominica. We are citizens of Dominica. They pull out their passport, show the man the passport. Have you ever been to Dominica? No. Have you ever been to Dominica? No, but you have a passport for Dominica in New York. And that is the problem. You're selling passports to people who don't have who doesn't even come to your country.
The geography doesn't know the Caribbean.
Who don't know where your country is located. But yes, I am a citizen of Dominica. So this statement come true. We have dishonest leadership, and then also we have, I am certain there is benefit. Wait, I am certain there is benefits to all. The question is whether we are making the best use of the CBI funds.
And that's a big question.
And it goes back again to the answer: dishonest leadership.
So how are we correcting that?
Holding our leaders accountable.
And how because when we mention holding our leaders accountable, you're looking at any of those ministers in government that are man or women enough to tell a leader we are not going.
Well, that is where you have to that's what we do here at Carlos Media. We try to inform people of their rights to be heard, their rights to stand up for their rights. It's not everything your leader does or say that is correct. It's not everything that your leader does or say that is right. You have to challenge them. Not in a always go, oh, we're gonna block road, or we're gonna. You have to challenge them. You have to ask them questions. Pull them up and say, sir, this is wrong. If you need a platform to come and voice your opinion, use me.
You know when leaders are listening to you. You want to know when? When it's election time, you know.
Exactly.
That is where leaders are pretty soon. I think when last time we can have election?
2 years ago, almost 2
okay,
years ago.
So 2026 election will be election in St. Lucia. God forbid if we see it. And we have Jamaica, I think, is in September, thereabout. And probably I think Grenada would have election. St. Vincent and the Grenadines too. Let me say something on that. Let me say that's very serious. And that is why when you talk about holding leaders accountable, especially to their behavior, you know where we can hold leaders accountable?
When is election time?
In the ballot box.
Exactly.
Because when a leader could come, a politician in particular,
could come to your door.
Could knock on your door and tell you, vote for me. You as a citizen, like that's your home there. So a politician knock, Kado, I want you to vote for me. And Kado would say, yeah, man, yeah, and Kado, if you vote for me, I'll make you get a contract. And yeah, man, don't worry, you have my vote. Let me say that. We have a right to question leaders at that time, politicians. True. Demanding them and ask them questions, and it is not after an election. You vote for them, you decide they are taking another track, and you believe now you want to get on sideline. They don't have time for you.
No, they don't have no more time for you.
So right now then, politicians are in all little alleyway, little nooks and all in little it's canvassing big time to see how many people they can get to vote for them, to put them back in power. When they're in power, they don't listen to people.
Because
that is the problem.
Once you give them that mandate, they no longer care about
and we need to be very careful. Yeah. That's the problem we have in the Caribbean. The entire Caribbean have that same problem. In my country, St. Lucia, because which I am very proud of that country, but sorry to say, it has I'm serious. It have taken a path of criminality. And listen to my word well, criminality, which every now and then we are reporting a homicide. And I said on a particular comment yesterday while over here in the US, when you have a murder every day in your country, the last time I think it was 5 for the day, that is where we show leadership quality. You have leaders that will pull every string that they can to see that they do something to put a curb on that. Whether I never said politicians can put an end to crime, that's what I'm saying. But politicians have to come up with ideas, strategy together with the police to see whether they can put that thing on the level of control. Because if you allow that thing to go without control, you know what's going to happen? The same tourism you want to boast and knock your chest, tourism arrival into the millions, and you want to flap on your gums and boast in yourself, you're not going to see that come to your country. So what are you going to do? And while on that, there's an interesting topic, something which I want to mention. We heard about now, let us go to the south. I heard a lot of prime ministers in the Caribbean, and let me make listeners understand when they say let's go to the south. Right now they say let's go to Africa now. So the potential for investment, our potential is in Africa. Let me say that one bit. You, Kado, and I, and persons who have common sense, we can have trade with Africa. But the geographical location of Africa and the Caribbean can put us a barrier when it's come to trade. It is easy for us to trade in South America and the US. In my country, when it is around 2 o'clock, every plane that is landing in that airport in Beaufort is American plane. No African airline.
No African airline.
No Saudi Arabian airline or Kuwaiti airline. It's American plane and British Airways and Canadian plane. So if, and I believe some of our leaders need to be careful. Right now, they almost want to push away friendly government who used to be there for them, and they tell you they want to go to the south. What can you get to the south? I mean, everybody know Africa, how they operate with the corrupt ways. What can you get to the south? What are you getting there?
I don't know.
So the CBI, while it is a good program, our leaders have failed us when it's come to transparency on the CBI. They have failed us immensely, because you one person all the way to tell you that's the way the citizen by investment going. There is corruption in it.
But they know it's corruption in it.
No, but you have person in other countries in the world telling you that citizen by investment is a trap.
But they know
full of corruption.
But they know that. Something it's not a secret. Something that they don't know. They're using it because it's an easy way for them to get money. So now they would go to the corrupt parts of the world and get people from those corrupt parts of the world who have money to invest, to buy passports so that they can now get the money and do whatever they're doing with the money. That is all it is about, It's a money grab situation. I want money as a government or as a person, as a leader, so I know how to get it, which is by selling my passport. So that's what I'm going to do.
So I am saying there's a lot of good thing we can do if that thing was properly structured. Especially with our youth. We can build housing for our people, our poor people that cannot build a house by property and do something. We can get a lot of our youth on the streets, who have been into cracks, drugs, and gangs. We could do a lot of things with that money rather than not providing us the full details as to the full account of that our sale of passport, how much money generated. Let us say for this year, last year, report supposed to come to tell you this year we make X amount. So we will spend in X amount on the youth development. We will spend in X amount on a hospital. We will spend X amount to help the police, to give the police better equipment, better, ways of detecting crime, and and strengthen the lab and all of these things. That is to me how the CIP money is supposed to be. But you barely, in some country, you barely hear what the CIP money is doing. And that is the problem I have with that. Now, I don't want to indulge too deep in it, because I know there are persons that have been in court with person called this one corruption CIP. I cannot point my hand on nobody, but I am saying, as a citizen, as a layman, and I know about politics. I mean, I have been in politics, and even up to now, I'm in politics. The CBI, something to me does not go in right with it.
All right. So, my people, you can big up to you, KG. You can follow me on YouTube. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put the link there, so you just click on the link and you can get into that. Now we are welcoming our guest, Mr. Rolle. Mr. Rolle, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I good. Okay, good night, man.
Good night.
Yeah, this is Shogun straight out of St. Lucia.
Oh.
Yeah, this is Shogun here straight out of St. Lucia.
What's that? Jack Rosley, Denry, Catherine.
That's in Maple South.
Yeah,
before. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, man.
So, yeah, what's going on, Mr. Rolle?
I good. I stopped by a little earlier to get something to eat, and I take some time, Yeah. But I did check out to see if you was live a while ago, but I didn't see you on there, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us, coming on at this late hour, because we only have another, 14 or 15 more minutes.
That's
we
good.
Only an hour tonight. He said something a while ago, and I want you to understand and answer his question. He said that in St. Lucia there are independent candidates who run, right? You hearing me, right?
Yeah.
Good. There are independent candidates who run. But it's like they sell themselves to the political parties, to either opposition or to the party of power. You intend to run independent in the next or in the upcoming elections, right? In Wesley constituency. Will you, when you win, sell yourself? Or will you stand for the people who voted for you?
First of all, I'll say no. But then I can explain one of the reasons why that happened. And it's very easy. One of the reasons why that happened is because we actually coming off a political system where we believe in a party structure. Exactly. The history of politics in the Caribbean never taught us that there can be an independent candidate. Or what it did is it never allowed the people to understand what the benefit of an independent candidate could bring outside of a party structure. So that's one of the reasons why somebody might say, I'm not going to vote for Richie because Richie is an independent candidate. And what can Richie do? Richie can do the same thing as a party. It's all about you bringing bills to the house and have them effective. The thing is, we already put ourselves in a position where we think we cannot perform that instrument. We cannot do anything. So we need to be in a party setting for it to happen. But the same thing the party does in the House of Assembly is the same thing an independent candidate can do. And
Mm-hmm.
what it does also, let's assume I contest the election and I become the winner.
No, no, stop, 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 stop. When you become the winner, don't ever
Oh,
sell yourself short.
all right, so okay, right. So I will go to the House on behalf of the people from Wesley, Pantry, Woodfield,
Mm-hmm.
and I will fight for the same things that a party structure will fight for. No, if the party in power at the time, if they really say they love the people, then they're gonna give my constituency the things that I deem necessary. If they don't, then the people have the ample time to understand that, hey, here it is we vote for a brother. Here it is the brother knows everything we are deficient in. And
Mm-hmm.
here it is he putting it out there in the form of bills and whatever the case is on our behalf. And here it is the state is not providing none.
Yeah, so now we can hold them leaders accountable.
So we can hold them accountable. But what happens in contrary to that? Sometimes we get carried away by money. You
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes all those parties need you, they need you to come on their side so that they can stay in power
Power.
to continue to do the same thing they've been doing for the last 10, 20, 25 years.
He wants to
What
ask
do
you a
I
question.
do?
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I want to say something and then I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay? Now, independent candidate, and as we know, the traditional government election has been with political parties, and it's in the Caribbean. We mainly, whether it is let us say like in Saint Lucia, UWP or SLP, and it have proven very difficult to see an independent candidate want to one day. Now, if and if you want, well, sorry about you. When you win your seat, let me be correct. Let me be right. Maybe that's right. We have see, we know some of them tend to go and join the other party, whichever form the government they go on. Well, they come under the umbrella of independent, and they know very well it is being independent with us, it will be a little difficult, particularly to do what you have to do for your constituency. As much as if you're an MP, the constitution make it mandatory that you have to get allocation as any other MP to take of your constituencies.
Yeah.
Which you're right. But then independent they come under the umbrella independent, and when they win, they especially when it's come to certain debate in the parliament with certain laws that the government will enact that will, let us say, affecting the people. The voice that they have during the independent campaign, they don't have that in the parliament. They're not taking a stand for the people which they can the independent. They will go to fund it to represent. What's your opinion on
Now that's basically because they weren't really independent. In some of the cases, should I say you take advantage of a situation?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ways I'll describe it. You take advantage of a situation and you achieve success, but your sole aim is to be led by something else.
that?
Okay.
So in everything you have a mantra. You have your mantra, hey, for me, my thing is to fight for the success of the people from my constituents. That is my thing. That's how I see it. Now, I don't see me selling myself to a party. If I figure that that party will will respect the views of my constituency, then something can happen. But that's not so necessary because
Agree.
even when you do that, you're going to compromise your own self
Mhm.
because you know in our case in Dominica they need 11,
Mhm.
so I have 10 people to fight with. You understand? The only way independent in my case I can be very effective is if in the next election the Labour Party win 10 seats, the opposition win 10 seats, and I come across as the independent candidate,
Mhm.
I will decide who forms the government.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. That's one
So,
scenario.
so then now you have the power to demand
Right.
certain things.
So I'm in a position now, if you do something I don't like it, then I could work you. The thing is, I will not want to join your party as a subject to your party. No, no, I would never do that. Because to
Brian,
me,
without continue short, I was just the other two part of the question. I just forget that one. So, what about you? You have, I don't know your background, your expertise in what field you that you can play. Your qualification background in politics. But let us say they decide to, you put, they decide to give you a job. Would you go to your constituents and ask them, should you take it, or you would just take it by yourself, move to them?
That's a good
well,
question right there.
well, that's okay. That's one of the ways you can, okay, for instance, like I was just saying, in a 10-10 situation, they need me to decide who forms the government.
Hmm.
That's an easy situation. In the other scenario, what usually happens, well, I haven't seen it happen in a while because we only had independent candidates in the last election around Dominica. So the only place they had they used to have that
No, no,
before
no, no,
was in the
no.
port,
We
was in
had
the
Pappy
port
running.
known.
We had Pappy running
Yeah.
independent all the time.
Yeah, but he didn't really win anything. The only place an independent candidate did win something I know in the history of Dominica elections being the Colio constituency.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
But what really happens, whether it's Dominica or anywhere else in the Caribbean, is that the ruling party is a party as well financed. You rarely get the opposition party as financed as the ruling party, except for situations, let's say like Antigua, you know. But what really happens is they would come after you and they would offer you the big job. Now, this is where it gets interesting because when you run the campaign, you campaign on a level where you're talking to people, hey, this is what I can do for you.
Mhm.
This is what I can do for my people. So from the time you decide to take a job from them, you actually start compromising yourself
Very
and
right.
your constituents. You start to do it already off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So for me now to come to my constituent as the PAL rep for that constituency, to tell them I getting a job from the state, that is good reason now for them to leave me alone next election coming because they already don't see I sell out.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't matter how you do it, you sell out. I believe what you should do in a 10-10 situation, you would decide, and you can also do that with the people too, to find out where you think they want you to go.
Want
And
you
if
to go
there's
here.
a right, you come back to the people and you say to them, hey, listen, you have two parties there, you have the Labour Party, you have the UWP, I'm in the center. I gonna decide who forms the next government. Well, most likely I already know what that is.
And
I,
the next one,
I
because
already know what that is.
the
Go
reason
ahead.
why I am asking, sorry, that cottage, I'm asking that question. I know in Antigua we had asked Michael, he's deceased now.
That's what Mike. Yeah.
Now, what that is one man I
Me
admire
too.
him. You know, I admire him. This man has stand for principle.
Right.
A lot of people believe because after the election, the margin they thought he would have switched because we know very well his problem with Gaston Brown to fall out. And he went independent and he is stand like a man and he stood independent. But back home, in St. Lucia. We have two independent candidates in the Parliament of St. Lucia. Well, they call the independent. That is the title they use in the independent. And those two gentlemen, they both have ministerial position in the government. Now, I am not saying, although persons have questioned the independent, because I don't know whether people, what other way you can redefine independent than when you independent, which means you not allowed to know the party. You are
Right.
just independent, all your lobby and your voice in the parliament has to be for the independent people which you claim you are into.
Okay.
So those two gentlemen, one is Minister of Infrastructure within the ruling party, and the other one is Minister of Housing and Development. Now, I know we have a lot of young people who have not really understand politics, not even the position that politicians have, which some of us have. Well, people like me, and as we know, but the masses are not really too familiar with the position of even far less than independent. But to me, if you are an independent, and that is how it was, I am really enforcing that point. If you are an independent, you make a valid point when you said if the margin come to that place and you can make a change, and then your independent people, so when they decide, well, go ahead, and but then be on top of them, call the shot because you are in a position to call it fine. But then if you are independent, that is how I look at it. Whatever it is, you cannot compromise with the winning party without the input of the people that you claim to be your independent for them.
Well, look how comment came in. They won't need you. They would need your seat, which belongs to the people. There must be consultation of the people who elected you.
Exactly.
That's a comment that came through.
Yeah, so I'm saying you even if in a 10-10 situation, Dominica, and I was the person to decide who the next government would be, but I still have to consult with the people who voted for me. That decision depends on the people. The people decide, hey, this is where we want to go. There may be contention, it may be contentious, I understand, because some might say you go there, some might say go so, that kind of thing. So we would have to trash it out before a decision can be made. I would not just jump up because, hey, and just go and meet the Labour Party or just go and meet the WP. It doesn't work like that. You have to come back to the people and have that consultation with them and say, hey, listen, this is where we are. That's what we're supposed to do. This is what we want for constituency. This is what we want for Dominica in entirety,
Okay.
And then we have to have an understanding. Anytime you go beyond that, it means you already compromise yourself. You put yourself in a weakening situation.
Yeah.
But you want to be in a position where you can bargain. That's what I believe in.
This comment also came in. What about Marigot and Salisbury independent candidates? It was a special situation, but clarify for history's sake. Clarify for history's sake.
I don't really know what he wants to know, because up until now, neither of the two candidates cross the floor or go to any party.
Okay.
So they still, one may say in the Marigot case that Tony is aligning with the Prime Minister. We don't know that for real. We can only assume that. But at the same time,
there is no proof to show that.
there's no proof to show that. So they're using all the rhetoric they could use. I mean, in Tony's case, I can understand what Tony is doing. Tony wants to bring his constituency up front.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, he's not gonna get the help from the opposition who is not in government.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So he would have to align himself in a certain way. In other words, he'd have to be elastic then.
Yeah, to get help from the government.
If you want to call it that, so he can get assistance for his society. I mean, I wouldn't pull it down on Tony just yet. I wouldn't do that until Tony gave me a good reason. So if you say you're gonna cross the floor and go over to Labour Party or whatever the case is, I don't know. But for now I honestly, in terms of constituency, I think he doing the right thing. I wouldn't say anything bad about him.
All right.
So
Because like Tony,
yeah,
go ahead, go ahead.
the next question I wonder it's about Dominica still because prior to you join we had a discussion. And Dominica, I've never been to Dominica, but I have been follow the politics of Dominica for a good while. And persons in Dominica I'd really admire. They have been there. This and then I did mention Eugenia Charles, which I know really had Dominica. I know some people might be different in terms of, you know. And then we spoke about Pierre Charles and Rosie Douglas. These were great men in Dominica. Now,
Yeah.
we know from my based on what I know about Rosie Douglas, really had a good plan for Dominica. And then you should know that I remember at one time he wanted to put the membership of Dominica into the EU. In fact, he was even fighting for Dominica to be a member of the European Union. I believe that would have happened had he been there because that was his plan, you know. And then the question is, right now in Dominica, I don't even want to talk about what is there right now. I don't want to talk about what is there. So no, I want to be careful.
Yes, don't talk about what is there
I'm
right
not
now.
talking about what is there. But I know, unlike St. Lucia, there's a lot of Dominica, a lot of things can be done in that island. It's a nature island with 365 rivers, you know, and very huge. I've never been there, but I did a pretty good study geography about Dominica, and I believe, to me, Dominica is really under development.
Yeah, on that
You
development.
understand? And when I say under development, I could say as so many different things that could have happened. Particularly, Dominica is very green, whether it is mountainous, it's very green, and it has its unique forestry and water, in fact, wasted water that has not been utilized to do something. So,
He talked about that the other day. He said we have how many hundreds of gallons of water
you
going
know, it
into the
is.
sea.
So it is. So I am saying briefly, and I say it is under development, and then I believe right now Dominica does not need somebody to just talk. You know,
We need action.
some Dominica need somebody with action, and not just talk about you building a new international airport, and then that's the moment as I know for sure. But somebody with action that could get Dominica, and if not Pierre Charles, Rosie Douglas was there, Dominica would have been totally different because his plan, when he looking at the Caribbean itself, because we talk about OCS unity Caribbean, and that is a problem. That is not going to anywhere. And his plan was to put Dominica as a member of EU. And he had have so many trips to the UK and Europe. And possibly Dominica would have been a member of the European Union. But we know what happened. He died. And then from that day, Dominica just like a photo.
Well, well, I will start to say it like this. A nation that does not empower its people, and more so its young people, we're doomed to fail.
A nation that does not empower its people will impoverish them. I got you.
Yeah, we doomed to fail. That is something that is real. I mean, I don't have to leave Dominica to know that. I write here, and I can see it. I mean, all the major development projects to be done in Dominica are being sourced out to overseas people. Now, it's not that I have an issue with giving a foreigner a job, but at the end of the day, Dominica is a place to have a lot of educated people. and educated in a lot of fields. It's not like say only doctors Dominica have. Dominica have engineers. Dominica have civil engineer, they have structural engineer, they have all kind of engineer in Dominica. Are we utilizing them? No. Do we have a strong banking policy, like reform banking policy? We have a 8 bank. Do we have a reform banking policy to favor young people development into anything? You hear them saying they put in money in bank for young people to go and take a loan. What kind of loan? Small loan. You give a young man $20,000 to build something, it cannot complete it. And then,
We talked about
and
that
then,
earlier.
and then you don't have the commerce in Dominica for that same person to apply his skills after he take that loan to repay the loan.
That's
And
correct.
you're just gonna have people piggybacking over and over and over again, and then you're gonna have what are you gonna have? How you call that? There's a term in the bank when you don't pay your loan. How you call it? You can't even forget. Like delinquent.
Delinquency in the
You're gonna
bank.
have a whole amount of delinquent people in Dominica. No, that is all stemming from a situation where the state itself is not making any improvements to anything to foster young people to go forward. And that is a fact in Dominica. I mean, you can watch Richie now. What would you be interested in Richie? Let's say you want to get involved in tourism and you want to do a beachside bar. Okay, let's use that.
Yeah.
I would be an idiot as a member of government to come and offer you $25,000, $30,000 to do that. I should know in the back of my mind it's not going to work. But if you have a facility that could offer Richie $500,000, with $500,000 he could get the land, he could put down the structure, he could stock the place and have some money, some money, some in our account to help to carry this stuff on. So by the time he start operating, he already have a cushion. But when you offer him 10, 15,000 dollars to do what? So they have a term in Dominica, everything is small business. Everything is small business. So you have somebody going to Rosso and they buying what? 2 cases of Heineken, 1 case of Kubuli, a case of Guinness or Mackinson, and maybe 2 buckets of rum and they come up and they take a whole year to sell it. No, nothing is actually wrong with that. What is wrong with it is the fact that there's not an economy happening or a buoyant economy happening in Dominica. And yes, we can run around all we want with the red shirt and the blue shirt and whatever color shirt, but nobody is teaching us the right way. Nobody is telling us the right thing we need to do or to expect for us to be better people. And that's our issue for me, for Dominica, that's our issue.
All right.
So, without cutting, yes. So I am saying earlier we were talking about we have this similar program called youth what is it, youth program. There's something called a youth program, whatever it is. And then we talk about we boast these things and we gave them $5,000 to the youth to do business. Now we said what $5,000 into this world can do for you to do any business. Now
Nothing.
youth program supposed to be something that is properly structured. That is supposed to be a program to me, in my opinion, that somebody from the ministry that have the skills, whether you do it in different constituency, you want to take 10 in that constituency, 10 in that one, and we have 17 constituency down here, 10 in each, and you have somebody from the ministry that are properly versed and train those young people, both in economics and finance. And there you would know exactly what type of program you are going to make, because you have to do what you call a proper check-in. Because if somebody want to go do agriculture, we know very well $5,000 powder land, get the inputs.
Can't do that.
It just cannot do it. Somebody want to do auto mechanics, I'm carpenter, I'm masonry, and name it. So when you have a proper structure, somebody from the states, they will do what they call the background checking. If it is that program you want to do, they would have a better idea. So how much money you need
yeah.
to go to that program? You don't just run by the road and call Cado and give him $5,000, and then you have a list of so many young person.
You give
You give
5,000.
5,000, 5,000, so the youth economy is buoyant. That's crap.
Let me show you. Let me show you a situation. I gotta show you a situation.
Well, we
They
have
are what we call.
Drex, 5 more minutes.
Okay, no, it's kind of honor. They are what we call importers in Dominica. They import all the meats in Dominica. Okay. Now the government through let's see NDFD, they have the aid bank and the stuff. They will give you money to go into livestock. Now, fine. You go into livestock, the money is limited because even then, as an individual, you go for a loan, you have to meet the requirements as almost a commercial bank. That's why I say we need to reform some of those things because right away there, you crippling the upgrowth growth of people because a lot of people doesn't have what it takes to go to a commercial bank. And then the aid bank, So I was saying, if tomorrow I wake up and I hear the government say, we're going to reform meat importation. And when I say that, I mean, they had a system in place. They know they invested a couple $1 million in livestock. They're expecting to receive a quantity of meat. Let's say goat meat. Let's say beef. Let's say pork. All right. So let's just say we are accustomed to bringing 1,000,000 tons of those meats per annum. But based on the investment out there, they would have 200,000 tons. What they expect.
Yes.
Right. So if I wake up tomorrow and I hear the government say, okay, we were importing 1,000,000 tons of meat, whether it's chicken, whatever the case is, across the board. I mean, they can specify, but we're just using a broad brush. So let's say 1,000,000 tons of meat per annum. So now, based on our investment, we can produce 250,000 tons of meat locally. So if I hear them saying no, they're gonna change up some of the import duty. So for instance, they would leave the regular tax at 75%, and the other 25%, they would bring it up to retarded. So which means the importer, knowing you want to make money on the other 25%, he's not gonna venture there. Now when he doesn't do that, it allows for the other 25% to come onto the market. So the people are involved in poultry, in goat, in mutton, in beef. They can sell their material the same price.
That's right.
But what's what are happening? In Dominica at the moment, let's use pork. A regular person like us that does pork, we would have to sell pork at $8 a pound.
And you can go in the shop and buy it for $3.
When you do the maths. But you can go also, and I'm talking from experience, because I did pork for a few years. I had over 60 animals and pigs. And that was my own money I invested in it. And I found out the right way and the wrong way. Because it reached a point where, although I had a specific breed of pig, what the people wanted, but then I had to drop the price to meet them because they were saying they can go Roseau at Malcolm Stephen and buy one pound at $3.00.
And you selling it.
So you see, so the point is, remember, that was my own animals. I didn't have no bank money into it. That was my own thing. So now you're telling me you're going to use Dominica young people, give them a loan to go into the same venture, but when they get productive, they cannot sell this stuff.
That's the problem.
Because why? Because the government itself never prepare a market for them.
That is right. That's correct. You hit the nail on his head. That's correct.
So
that's a
Yeah.
very simple thing.
so Drex, we have to cut it short here now tonight.
I wish I was there earlier than that.
Yeah, you should have come earlier because we gone past the time. But this
Yes,
comment
yes.
came in. Transparency in the governance and management of our economy deems every expectation of hope in the people. Do you believe that we would have made a difference? Do you believe that that would have made a difference in the residents for the residents? Transparency in government,
Well, let me just answer that.
and that'll be our last question and our last
Yeah,
comment.
just 1 second, we just define it. Let me just say that quickly. We spoke about transparency earlier when we started, and I believe if every leaders in the Caribbean, meaning prime ministers, would have been transparent to the people, I believe we would have a better Caribbean. Because lack of transparency, that is what we have right now in the Caribbean. That could even take a line and the result of the crime situation that we have had in the Caribbean. Because it's almost like nobody accountable to nobody. Then it's just a lawbreakers by itself. I leave the rest for you.
Go ahead, Drex. Go ahead with your answering that question. The transparency in government, would that have made a
Well,
difference?
mine is very precise. We have a perfect example of it. The airport project right there. If it was transparent, if it was transparent to the people of Dominica and more so the people of Wesley, no, we stand to lose a generation some way, somehow, through sickness. Sickness will kill a whole amount of Wesley people in the next 5 to 10 years. You inhaling cement and dust. You're inhaling all day long. If they were transparent, if they did come to the people and have a conversation, we would not be suffering that situation right now. That's one of them. Another one is if they did come to the people with transparency, if they were not, Wesley people would have walked away with a better package, as well as we'd have more Dominicans working on that project. I'm not saying that we have the total expertise to do it. Maybe we need some engineers from outside, but
Yeah.
the actual people working on there
Laborers on the
would be
project.
would be Dominicans. Would be Dominicans, and maybe last of all, on that same project, maybe they'll be working for a better wage.
True.
Seeing that is all they say is our money that dealing it.
Filling it. All right. So
That's why I see that.
my comment to that: transparency in government would have been beneficial to the residents because you will be able to now hold the government accountable. They get $1, they spend 50 cents. You know where the 50 cents spend.
Exactly.
You know how it benefited the country. You know what they do with the other 50 cents because it's $1 they get.
That's right.
So transparency would be very great for our countries. It would help develop our nations at large. I would like to also let you guys know that we'll be doing a live on Thursday night. We'll be live on Thursday night. Randy, Clint, Young Boy Fido, and myself. And whoever else feels free to come in and lend their comments and lend their hand. We'll be on Thursday night. So tune in on Thursday night for that topic. We are also going to be doing a topic coming soon. Numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. We are going to be going through the budgets that we have been presented for the past 10 years. We are going to be going through the budgets that we have been presented for the past 10 years and giving a breakdown analysis of those budgets, where the money come, what they presented to us in the budgets, and where it go and spend, or how much did they spend, or what did they do with it. Because we've been We had a last budget last week for how much billion of dollars. Where we gonna get that money there from? And where we gonna spend it? So the Numbers Don't Lie project is coming up soon, and Thursday night tune in with Drex, Randy, Fido, and myself. Oh, and on the 24th of August, if you're in the Atlanta area, 24th of August, Dominica Day, Wade Walker Park. Come on and come on. Have a great evening, my people. Be blessed and be productive.
And before you close, let me just pick up some of my people down here in St. Lucia. I know most of you on Facebook, you all see live and you join our discussion, or maybe if you didn't want to comment. And the vacation journey, well, pretty soon going to be end by tomorrow. I should get back home. But then I will definitely do it again, come back in Atlanta, and then, but hopefully while down here, I could join the discussion with Kado, and then we can share more views and more ideas. And I believe that is what we need to do, try and educate our young people and let them know that they cannot be a servant of a politician, and they would have a better understanding and let the politician know $150 fall in a t-shirt cannot be a lifesaver for me. So I need to, I have talent, and if you make the country good as an ambitious person, I will be good myself. So let me say thank you, sir, and enjoy the comment. I took good note at what you were saying, and that is exactly what we need in the Caribbean. Have a blessed evening.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Thanks.
Yes.
Just wait there.
Thursday.
Wait
Yeah,
there.
man.
Wait.
Okay.
Well, this is Cardo's Media, and yeah, don't blame the messenger. Yeah.